It's just about work. We got to continue to put the work in. We have an opportunity to get better and better each and every game, and we still continue to learn each other. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing for us that we have room for improvement. And looking forward to seeing where we can become.
There's just a sort of constant refrain from other coaches before and after you guys play them that you guys play as hard as any kind of team they've seen in the league thus far. How do you gauge that, and what does that say about the kind of makeup of this team if it plays that?
With anybody. I don't even understand why that was even a question. What's wrong with these people out here? I can fit in right away with anybody. So,
For 2 decades, his narrative has been one of leadership, brotherhood, and making others better. It's the cornerstone of the LeBron James legacy. But now, for the first time, one of his own has broken ranks from inside the circle of trust. A former teammate who shared the court, the locker room, and the championship stage with LeBron is going on the record with a shocking, detailed accusation that flips the script entirely. He doesn't unite locker rooms, he conquers them. It's not about we, it's about what serves him. And when the focus isn't 100% on him, he creates divisions to make sure it is again. This isn't an outsider's critique, this is a testimony from within. This is the story of the day LeBron's greatest myth, the ultimate teammate, was exposed as the ultimate corporate takeover. The bombshell was not dropped on a loud debate show or in a viral social media rant. It landed in the measured, long-form space of a prestigious sports journalism podcast known for its deep-dive interviews. The guest was not a perennial critic, but a respected veteran role player who won a championship alongside LeBron in the last decade. His career since has been defined by professionalism, not controversy. The host, setting the stage, asked about the intangibles of championship chemistry. The former teammate's tone shifted from nostalgic to starkly analytical. "You want to know the real intangible?" he began, his voice calm but firm. "It's trust. Real, unshakable trust that everyone is pulling for the name on the front of the jersey, not the one on the back. And I've been in locker rooms where that trust is organic, and I've been in ones where it's manufactured." He paused, as if choosing his next words with surgical precision. With LeBron, you're not joining a team, you're joining a corporation, and he's the CEO. There's a hierarchy, and it's absolute. That's not necessarily bad for winning. Corporations can be very efficient, but corporations also have layoffs. They have divisions between departments. If the marketing department, the role players, isn't aligning perfectly with the CEO's vision, they create friction. They'll elevate the people who are fully bought into his program and isolate the ones who they see as questioning it, even if those questions are about basketball. The host, stunned, asked for an example. The former teammate didn't hesitate. It's in the language. It's my guys versus the guys who need to figure it out. It's who gets the pats on the back after a mistake and who gets the cold stare. It's creating an inner circle that reports directly to the top, bypassing the actual chain of command, which is the coaching staff. He doesn't mean to divide, but his system, his need for total control to feel secure, requires division to function. You're either with him or you're an obstacle, and in that environment, team is just a word on a whiteboard. With that, the interview moved on, but the dam had broken. A credible, championship-winning source had not just criticized LeBron's leadership, he had diagnosed it as a structural flaw that inherently fractured teams. The myth of the unifying leader was officially under oath, and the testimony was damning.
Streak and all that, but you got a better pass. Rui's open in the corner. He ends up hitting the shot. Can you just take us through that sequence and how it results?
Just playing the game the right way. Always make the right play. That's just been my MO. That's how I was taught the game. I've done that my whole career. There's not even 1 second guessing that. Once they doubled AR and the ball got swung to me, I know it's a numbers game. We got a 4-on-3 advantage, and I was just trying to put the ball on time on target and right in the root of socket, in the shot pocket, and he knocked it down.
unique night with all the calls both ways. When you took the floor to start that fourth quarter, what was the kind of main purpose to set the course? I think it was a 12-2 run or something to kind of turn the game there.
We got good stops. That was the most important thing. Obviously, we know this Utah team can score a lot of points at a very high rate, but it was very imperative that we got stops. We had to get stops to start that fourth, and then we allowed our offense to click.
Where do you go to when, like...
Former teammates' use of corporation was a precise diagnosis, not a casual insult. It describes a systematic model of control that is played out in multiple cities. To understand the division, you have to follow the playbook. First, you have the merger. LeBron doesn't join a team. His entire ecosystem acquires it. His brand, his media company, his agency, they all become part of the franchise's infrastructure overnight. The existing culture is absorbed by a much larger, more powerful entity. Loyalty begins to flow toward this new corporate headquarters, the LeBron James camp. Then comes the restructuring. The roster isn't just a group of players, it's a balance sheet. The front office, under immense pressure, begins to audit its assets. They are sorted. You have the core subsidiaries, players represented by his agency or veterans with direct personal loyalty. These are his guys. They operate with insider information and protected status. Then you have the valued departments, the high-performing players outside the inner circle. They are useful, even celebrated, but kept at a professional distance. Their future with the company is always uncertain. Finally, you have the assets marked for liquidation, the young talent, the draft picks, anything that can be converted into immediate help for the CEO's win-now mandate. This process, by its very nature, creates factions. It tells everyone in the locker room exactly where they stand in the new corporate hierarchy. The final and most divisive phase is the establishment of a parallel command. The official chain of command, from the general manager to the head coach to the players, gets bypassed. A shadow hierarchy emerges. Decisions are run through the CEO's office. Coaching adjustments, rotation ideas, even motivational messages are filtered through what will serve the central vision. When a player has a concern, they learn quickly that speaking to the designated manager, the coach, is less effective than getting a message to the corporate liaison, a trusted veteran or agent. This doesn't just divide the locker room, it dismantles the very structure of a unified team, turning it into a holding company with one dominant shareholder and a bunch of anxious employees wondering if they'll be part of the next quarterly report.
Win was a little shaky to begin. Obviously, that was expected, but as the game went on, my win got a lot better. Caught my second win, caught my third win. Rhythm is still coming back, obviously. First game in quite a while, almost 7 months. So, everything that happened tonight was as expected. I think the pace, versus a team like Utah, who played with a lot of pace, a lot of movement, a lot of cutting and things of that nature, tested us, tested me, obviously. I was happy the way I was able to, keep up with it.
Late and the other team kind of cuts into it and it can flow. What's the key to just getting one key stop, making one key play, and what was that tonight?
I mean, you just said it. I think we went up 11, turned the ball over, had an opportunity to push it up, but it's the NBA. You got great players all over the league, and there's no league that's safe. And you always got to play to the end of the horn. We did that. Was able to get that last stop.
Luke was saying in the walk-off that it's obviously odd to have 4 days basically between games and it can get into a rhythm. I would expect particularly for you, since you just played your first game, how do you kind of...
This alleged blueprint isn't a theory confined to one season or one disgruntled voice. The former teammate's testimony points to a pattern of division that has marked LeBron's career, a trail of locker rooms left politically fractured in the pursuit of championship glory. The Cleveland Cavaliers, Part 1. The first super team experiment was born of pure necessity. LeBron was the sun, and a young, developing roster orbited him. The division here was less about factions and more about a total dependence that stunted organic growth. Players were either instruments for his brilliance or they were traded for better instruments. The Miami Heat. This is where the corporate model was prototyped. The Heatles were a forced merger of three superstar corporations. While they achieved ultimate success, the internal tension was legendary. The infamous Heat villains narrative was externally imposed, but internally, the pressure to conform to a specific LeBron-centric style of play to win created unspoken rifts. Players like Chris Bosh had to radically diminish their games, creating a hierarchy not just of talent, but of sacrifice for the central engine. The Cleveland Cavaliers, Part 2. The return was framed as a homecoming, but it functioned as a hostile takeover of a young, promising roster. The division was immediate and stark. The assets to be liquidated, like Andrew Wiggins, were gone before they could unpack. A rift between LeBron and then-coach David Blatt became public, showcasing the parallel command structure in action. The 2016 championship was miraculous, but it was won by a group veterans describe as a collection of mercenaries, not an organically built brotherhood. The constant churn of the roster to find the right pieces for LeBron created a culture of transience and anxiety. The Los Angeles Lakers. This is the corporate model in its final, most advanced form. The division is structural. The roster is a collection of clutch clients, veteran minimums chasing a ring, and the fading superstar himself. The young core was liquidated. Coaches are hired and fired based on compatibility with the CEO. The result is a team that looks less like a cohesive unit and more like a holding company, a group of disparate departments, scoring, defense, and veteran leadership, all reporting to a central, omnipotent authority. The former teammate's testimony suggests this isn't an accident, it's the logical endpoint of a system designed for control, not chemistry.
That you felt made the difference?
We stopped turning the ball over and we got back in transition. It was kicking our butts in transition early on, 14 fast break points in like the first 7 minutes. But a lot of it was because of our turnovers, and it's hard to get back and get matched on those things. So we cut that down and allowed us to get back into the game.
Whether it was 38 points in the first quarter or just 8 made threes by them alone, what's that challenge look like?
Well, they have a lot of shooters, a lot of snipers on their team. Guys that can make shots, contest, no contest, whatever, off the dribble. So, we just got to continue to, trust our schemes and trust what we want to do, and then just try to make them miss. And we was able to get back into the game and make them miss enough for us to, take the lead at one point.
The impression of LeBron that I had always had myself was someone who was a little more conscientious when it came to leadership. There's a part in the book about how every year the Lakers go to Nevada and Vegas and they do this charity event for veterans, not NBA veterans. Thank you for your service, veterans. And LeBron never actually got there to the event because Ohio State was playing a September football game. These are not things that I would have expected to have been the case.
The phrase I've sort of landed on, he's a front runner. When he thinks the team is good and has a legit shot at winning a championship.
In the wake of the explosive interview, a predictable yet powerful counterforce mobilized, the Inner Circle. This group, comprised of current and former teammates firmly within LeBron's orbit, launched a unified defense that did not deny the structure but glorified its results. Their argument was not about cozy chemistry, but about cold, hard winning. LeBron's longtime teammate and friend, Kendrick Perkins, led the charge on television. You know what divides a locker room? Losing. LeBron James has been to 10 NBA Finals. You think he got there by making friends? He got there by setting a standard so high it makes people uncomfortable. That's not division, that's leadership. This defense reframed the accusation. The friction wasn't petty division, but the necessary heat required to forge champions. Other defenders pointed to the generational wealth and legacies LeBron has created for role players. J.R. Smith, Iman Shumpert, Matthew Delaveda, players whose careers and financial futures were catapulted by their association with him and his championship runs. Their message? This corporation pays life-changing dividends. The unspoken question hung in the air. Would you rather have a warm, fuzzy locker room and no ring, or be part of a demanding machine that deposits a championship bonus into your bank account? This defense is potent because it sidesteps the emotional critique entirely. It accepts the premise of a corporate top-down structure and declares it a superior, more efficient model for the ultimate goal. It paints the whistleblower not as the truth teller, but as someone who couldn't handle the pressure and sacrifice required in the executive suite. In their view, the locker room isn't divided, it's simply organized into a clear hierarchy of commitment, with those unwilling to fully buy into the CEO's vision finding themselves naturally sorted out.
I else didn't want. So, when things is placed upon me, it's another challenge. If that's the label they're gonna give me, and they want me to, to carry the torch to the league, I have no problem doing that.
Are you the leader of this team?
Tremendously.
No question.
Ain't no question.
Are you a vocal leader?
Vocal leader. That's one of the biggest changes from last year to this year. Last year, I'm a rookie. There's veterans on the team. There's people that was here before.
What will you remember most about tonight?
Just going up to that scores table with my dad, checking in for the first time. That's a crazy moment I will never forget.
As you checked in and you realized this lifelong dream, what did you realize about accomplishing that?
I'm just extremely grateful for everything. I was given an amazing opportunity to come in this league and get better every day and learn every day. I'm just extremely grateful.
Huge smile across your face. You have accomplished many milestones. You have made history countless times. Why is this feat so special?
It's family. It's always been family over everything. And, for me, I lost a lot of time because of this league and committing to this league, being on the road at times, missing a lot of his things, Bryce's things, Zuri's things. So to be able to have this moment where I'm working.
The whistleblower's testimony and the inner circle's defense have collided to pose the NBA's ultimate unanswerable question about greatness. Is the price of absolute control the soul of a team? This isn't about right or wrong, it's about competing philosophies of victory. The LeBron model argues that chaos, organic growth, player-led chemistry, egalitarian leadership is inefficient and unreliable. In a league where margins are razor thin, you cannot leave championship hopes to the vagaries of human emotion and collective buy-in. You install a proven operating system, a central, brilliant intelligence, LeBron, that makes the decisions, and you build a compliant hardware system, the roster, to execute them. Friction is a bug in the system to be patched, often by removing the incompatible part. The results, finals appearances, championships, historic stats, are the proof of concept. The counterargument, given voice by the former teammate, is that this model wins in spite of its divisive nature, not because of it. It suggests that LeBron's otherworldly talent has been so overwhelming that it has papered over the structural cracks in his teams. The question becomes, how many more championships could he have won with the unifying, trust-based culture of a Tim Duncan's Spurs or a Stephen Curry's Warriors? Did the need for control and the divisions it sowed ultimately limit his ceiling? This debate reframes his entire legacy. Is LeBron James the greatest CEO in sports history, a visionary who engineered victory through sheer force of will and strategic dominance? Or is he the most talented player of all time who, in his pursuit of total authority, inadvertently built a ceiling on his own team's potential by prioritizing loyalty over pure, unconflicted basketball harmony? The whistleblower didn't just accuse LeBron of dividing teams, he accused him of choosing a path that, while brilliant, may have been suboptimal. It's an accusation that can never be proven or disproven, but one that will forever haunt the evaluation of his career.
Let's talk about LeBron James as a businessman. What LeBron James is doing right now as a player, still playing today, no other player has done this, right? And LeBron James, what he's doing, he has changed the minds of athletes today. We're witnessing other athletes look up to LeBron James and go out there and actually venture off and do business while playing when we've never seen that before. On another note, look at Blaze Pizza Company, right? LeBron James could have...
Butler not only can score points and will demand attention, but he'll create shots for Steph Curry.
LeBron James buries another three, his second of the game. 8 points, 7 boards, 4 assists now for LeBron. There's Draymond Green. He and Curry missed layups the last 2 possessions. James from the same spot LeBron 3 for 3 from three-point range.
Well, and he's got 4
Regardless of where one stands, the whistleblower's interview has achieved something seismic. It has permanently fractured the monolithic narrative of LeBron James as the consummate unifying leader. For 2 decades, that narrative was his shield. Critics of his game could be dismissed, but critics of his leadership and character were often silenced by the chorus of respect from peers and the visible evidence of team success. That shield is now cracked. The former teammate provided a credible, insider's blueprint for an alternative narrative, one of brilliant, divisive control. This blueprint will now be applied retroactively to every controversy, every departed coach, every traded young star, and every tense locker room photo from Miami to Cleveland to Los Angeles. The business impact is subtle but real. For future free agents, especially established stars with their own strong identities, the calculus changes. Joining LeBron is no longer just about chasing a ring with a great player. It's a decision about whether to submit to a corporate takeover of one's own career. It may deter some while attracting others who desire the clear structure and high probability of success it offers. For front offices, the interview is a warning. Acquiring LeBron is no longer just adding a superstar. It's agreeing to a merger that will subsume your franchise's existing culture. You are not getting an employee. You are welcoming a new majority shareholder. Most importantly, the whistleblower has democratized the critique. He has given voice, vocabulary, and credibility to the long-held private suspicions of fans, media, and other players. The phrase, "he divides locker rooms," is no longer a hot take. It is now a citable thesis with a named source from inside the championship circle. The debate about LeBron's legacy can never again be just about statistics and rings. It must now also grapple with the human architecture of his teams and the cold, brilliant, divisive machine he built to win. So, what is the final verdict on the accusation? The whistleblower was likely correct in his diagnosis. The evidence across 4 franchises suggests LeBron James does not build teams through traditional organic chemistry. He engineers them through a system of concentrated power, strategic alliances, and ruthless prioritization of his championship timeline. This system creates clear divisions between the inner circle and the periphery, between the present and the future, and between his vision and all others. But the defenders are also correct in their retort. This system works. It produces results at a historic rate. It is a model of devastating efficiency for the goal of winning championships. Therefore, the whistleblower did not expose a fraud. He exposed a trade-off. LeBron James traded the warmth of universal locker room brotherhood for the cold, hard certainty of control. He chose being a CEO over being a captain. He prioritized building a championship corporation over nurturing a championship family. The haunting final question is not whether he divides teams. The evidence suggests he does. The question is, in the ruthless calculus of legacy, does that division matter less than the championships it helped procure? The whistleblower forced the world to see the machinery behind the magic, and now everyone must decide if the ends justify the mechanical, divisive means.